Coming up on the Elon Phoenix Weekly.
Spring is the season of new beginnings and fresh starts. This is especially true for the women's lacrosse team as they make the most of their first games in Rhodes Stadium.
But with the beginnings come a few endings too. We'll get to know the seniors of the men's basketball and women's tennis teams one last time.
And finally, we will take a look at the future of Phoenix football as players and coaches prepare for the annual spring game.
All that and more next on the Elon Phoenix Weekly.
Welcome back to the Elon Phoenix Weekly.
As we get deeper into the spring season for athletics, one other major event looms near, the graduation of Elon seniors.
This year, we'll say goodbye to some of the most successful athletes in Elon men's basketball history.
Let's reminisce about their record-setting time in the maroon and gold.
The senior class of this year's men's basketball team was one of the best in program history. The Core Four have etched their names in the history books as one of the 1,000-point scorers.
I remember it was sometime in January we played UMass at home, and of course it was a great atmosphere in here, it was packed. And I just remember I hit a jumper and the crowd kind of got a little louder than usual. And I thought, in the back of my mind, I knew I had 1,000 at that point, but I didn't realize it really. And the next time out, my teammates came to congratulate me, and that's when I kind of knew for 100% that I got 1,000 points.
1,000 points. It's a milestone career point mark for college basketball players that is recorded in the history books. This year for Elon, seniors Riley Beaumont and Sebastian Koch joined fellow classmates Lucas Troutman and Jack Eisenbarger in the exclusive club. For all four players, they broke 1,000 points in Alumni Gym, making the moment a little more special.
It's a good feeling. It's nice to have all the people kind of acknowledge it. When you're away, you don't get that. You get something when you get back, but you just get the actual point to get to 1,000. It's nice to have all the people who've been kind of watching you for a while and watching you kind of progress and get older and grow and kind of be there for that specific moment.
Lucas Troutman and Jack Eisenbarger broke 1,000 points last year, and they wanted Riley and Sebastian to join the 1,000-point club this year.
I mean, we talked about that at the end of the year, saying they are next and they had to be here next. So it was a lot of fun, kind of mess with them, picking on them, waiting on them to get it, and it was definitely a special feeling once all of them got it. I mean, to have 4,000-point scorers on the same team is not something that happens often. To have these guys that are so special to all of us, it was really great.
This accomplishment certainly doesn't happen often, as Elon joined North Dakota State as the only two teams in the nation with 4 1,000-point scorers.
I think it's really special. You don't usually get a class of guys overall who play that well together and who contribute that well as far as scoring goes. So it's really a testament to how well we're coached and how well-rounded we were as a team. To have 4 guys who can score the ball that well, that makes you a dangerous team, and it gives you multiple weapons.
Since this achievement is so rare, how did this group of seniors do it?
I think our guys each understood their identity on the team and how we can contribute, and specifically offensively. With Lucas, we're going to get the ball to him on the block as much as we possibly can, and we're going to get Riley in positions to drive the ball against bigs, and Sebastian and myself, we're going to look for perimeter shots, and we all see each other and we look for each other on the court. So I think just an understanding of role and a submission to what each person's role was is really what took place.
Now for these seniors, a lot of their development and success on the court had a lot to do with the development of their friendship off the court.
When I came here, I kind of had already a feeling of it. I knew that was the way it was going to be, but I didn't realize how great that was going to be. Like I said, from day one, been together at all points in times, no matter what. 7, 8 of us live right beside each other now, and we're all the time hanging out. We're always talking, always doing stuff together. I mean, it's, like I said, it's unique and something different that you know, I've loved and had a great time doing it and had the best 4 years, you know, I think I can have.
So when these 4 seniors look back on their class, what will they remember the most?
Our bond, we were very close as a group, and just the friendship that we created is something we can look back to forever, and we can share these kind of moments that we had for the rest of our lives.
I think what I'll remember is the progress that we've taken the program. When we came in, there was definitely support, but it was wavering. It was dependent on a few things, a couple factors, who we're playing, how we're doing the season. But I mean, when we leave, I mean, the support we received this year is greater than anything we've received before, and it's an amazing feeling. And to have worked that up and seen it grow, all of us together, is something special that we'll just remember and cherish and be thankful for.
I think I heard somebody once say, like, you remember the most emotional experiences of your life, and you know, beating teams like Davidson in overtime, hitting game winner and celebrating in the locker room with guys, and after the Georgia Southern game. So I'll take away tons of moments from specific games, but just overall the work we put in together, and the fact that we did this together made it special.
It's definitely the bond of all these guys. You know, they are my best friends and they are my brothers, and you know, till the day we die, we'll definitely always be Elon Phoenix.
Although their careers may be over, the 4 seniors know their relationship with each other and the university will carry on for years to come.
Every new athletic program reaches milestones in their first season. The Elon women's lacrosse program is right in the middle of that stage, and they are quickly knocking achievements off the list, with 2 of the more recent accomplishments coming in Rhodes Stadium.
New programs always see a bit of a transition period. The Elon lacrosse team went through one as well, but they formed good chemistry quicker than one might expect. As a result, they were able to pick up their first ever win and first home win on March 1st, a 16-7 victory over St. Francis.
That game in particular, I thought we really took a giant step forward in that regard, and getting better at all phases of the game. I thought our focus in that game was really sharp. You know, we were on, and the bonus was getting the first win in our first home game. That was really fun.
We've been working since September on this, and some of us have been waiting like more than 2 years for this experience. So to be able to do it in front of our home crowd was amazing, and that first win felt so good.
The St. Francis win was like a huge accomplishment for us. It was our first game at home, and we actually had way more fans than any of us thought we would have. Lots of parents and just so much support from the school and our coaches, and we were really, really excited to come through with a win for them.
But the Phoenix wasn't done there. Their next game also happened to be their second home game, a matchup against Detroit on March 5th. The result? Same thing, different day. This time, the program checked its first Atlantic Sun Conference victory off the to-do list.
That game was a little bit more challenging because we really had no idea what to expect with them, but we knew it was going to be a really great game. We were just able to come back and rally together and figure out what we needed to do and what needed to change.
I thought it was a great test for our student athletes to really step out there and in tough conditions, in the weather and with the pressure of, you know, home game. And so our very first conference game, the girls handled it really well.
That win and that game in general meant so much to so many of us. A lot of our families were here, and we had so many fans, whether it was like roommates or hallmates or just friends from around campus. Even the week before, we had so much support. We've had so much support all year round from everyone. And then to be able to see hundreds of people filling Rhodes Stadium with fat heads and screaming for us was really awesome.
The Phoenix followed up their historic wins with yet another victory over Coastal Carolina before falling to UNC, the top-ranked team in the country and the defending national champions. However, for Coach Hexter, what's most important is that the team continues to grow over the course of the season.
We've been waiting a long time to finally get to this point, and to get here and then to see the team really improve in each game. That's what matters the most to me.
Coach likes to put a lot of emphasis on progressing throughout the games, not just paying attention to the wins, the losses, the score. He likes to focus on how well we do as a team and if we're improving game to game, and I think he was really proud of us because we definitely did improve a lot.
With a few big victories now under their belt, the team knows what they can do and are looking forward to a bright future.
We've been able to take a group of freshmen from all over the country and just create this awesome team with great chemistry.
Picking up those wins, I think, really proved to us that we should have some confidence because as a team, we're really starting to gel and we do have so much potential.
We have a lot of really talented athletes who are really highly motivated and are really unselfish. You know, whether you're a freshman or a senior, you either have that in you or you don't. And our kids have that, and it's been really great so far.
You can catch the Phoenix in their final home game of the year tomorrow at 1 o'clock against Kennesaw State.
And that brings us to today's trivia. Who was the first Elon pitcher to earn 11 wins in a single season? The answer coming up later in the show.
It's time for our first commercial break, but first, let's take a look at some of the upcoming games for the Phoenix. When we return, we focus on football and see how a few of the team's positional groups have fared in spring practice.
An Elon education is about preparing students for a life of global citizenship. Of course, this is a place where you're going to come and earn a degree, but it's also a place that's going to get you to think very deeply about how you're going to use that degree to make the world a better place.
And now back to the Elon Phoenix Weekly on ESPN2.
The Elon Phoenix Weekly is made possible by the students of the School of Communications in association with the dedicated coaches, athletes, and staff of Elon Athletics.
Coming from Ball State, with Coach Skrosky is wide receivers coach Billy Reebok. A former player himself, he intends to help remake the wide receiving core into a dynamic group of pass catchers that dominate on the field.
My name is Billy Reebok. I'm the wide receivers coach, assistant special teams coordinator. Came here from Ball State, spent 2 years there with Coach Skrosky, and was very fortunate. I learned very quickly what I didn't know.
Coach Reebok has years of experience as both a coach and as a player back at Quincy College. His previous successes helped to tool him with the knowledge he needs to develop a new group of receivers.
At the wide receiver position, we're very young. Very young. Now, we're talented, that goes without saying, but that, there's no substitute for experience. We're starting from the ground up, assuming, that they know nothing, and it's my job to teach them. Now, obviously, that's not the case. They're a talented group. They work hard, but, we're starting, blocking, top of routes, lean and separate.
Starting from ground zero is no easy task for either a coach or a player. Fortunately for Coach Reebok, the Whiteouts have bought into the process and are working hard to meet expectations.
They come in on their own all the time, getting extra work after practice. I don't have to say anything. They're getting extra work in on their own. And as long as you have that mentality and that type of work ethic, we're always going to have a chance.
Meeting the physical expectations on the field is only one aspect of football. The players also need to adopt the new mindset of the game that Coach Reebok is trying to put into place.
It's being able to look at concepts from the outside in. And I think once we're able to teach our kids, hey, this is your assignment, but this is why, hey, if you do this, it affects X, Y, Z, and they start to understand that, then that's when we're not going to have robots out there, we're going to have football players.
Football is more than a game, it's also a lifestyle. And before you can have success on the field, you must be able to come together off the field.
if we're going to be successful, it has to be a family-like atmosphere and relationship. You know, we have to create an environment where, hey, these players want to come over here and work, because let's face it, this game is hard. You know, you're putting your body through, you know, intense levels of, you know, collisions, pain, when it comes down to it, to be very blunt.
Football isn't easy. It requires pain, commitment, and sacrifice. That is why you need a special group of guys coming together to fight in order to make something great.
You just look at our receiver group, you have a collection of people from Florida, you know, the Northeast, you know, this great state of Carolina. And when you try to bring all these pieces together and, you know, put them on a path towards one common vision, you know, to me, that's what's interesting. And then with that, the competition. You know, if you don't love to compete, don't come to Elon.
If you're ready to compete, you have a shot. But what else does Coach Riebock want from a wide receiver who's looking to play some college ball at Elon University?
Ideally, you know, we want smart, reliable, tough guys, you know, people that love the game. I mean, everybody's going to say, hey, I want the biggest and the fastest, and of course we do too. We want guys that, you know, when it's time to make plays, you know, they're going to step up and make the play. You know, that's what they're required to do. And, you know, from a wide receiver perspective, I mean, I can't think of a better place than Elon. I mean, you're talking about coming and playing in an offense that has produced, you know, all-American wide receivers. I mean, you just walk through our halls, there's multiple wide receivers up in the Hall of Fame. And on top of that, you're coming to America's most beautiful campus, you know, receiving an elite education, dealing with administrators and professors and a president that get it and want Elon football to be great, which, you know, as we continue throughout this process, we'll eventually get there.
Riebock has had a lot of success in the past coaching wide receiving groups, and he intends to raise the bar here at Elon to a whole new level.
On the other side of the ball, defensive backs coach Terry Lance is now at the helm of the back four of Elon's defense. Known for his success while coaching against Elon while at Wofford, he hopes to bring his turnover-forcing defense to Elon.
I'm Terry Lance, defensive backs coach, first year here at Elon. Most recently, I coached the last 2 years at Ball State, so I'm familiar with Coach Growski from being there. Prior to Ball State, I was at Wofford College for 11 years, and so I'm familiar with Elon kind of from the outside looking in as a competitor, and really excited to be here. You know, great campus, great facilities, top-notch academic school, and you know, going into a great conference. So, you know, it really wasn't a hard decision for me to choose to take this opportunity here, and I think the future is really bright, and I'm looking forward to getting our team, you know, to a level that the whole school, the whole community can be proud of.
To achieve his championship aspirations, Coach Lance first takes a look at what talent he has available at the defensive back position.
We got some younger guys, we've got some older guys that have been around for a long time. You know, and I think it's a good mix of guys that work well together, and you know, we're trying to develop that, you know, throughout the whole program.
With his mix of old and new talent, Coach Lance wants to see his players make big plays during the game.
You always want defensive backs that can catch the ball. You know, there's that old adage that he plays defensive back because, you know, he can't catch the ball, and that's something that we don't prescribe to that adage. When we have an opportunity to catch the ball and make an interception and create a big play for us defensively, then we want to follow through on it.
If the goal is to create turnovers, how does Coach plan on utilizing his players in order to put them in the best position to create turnovers during the game?
There's no magic coverages out there. You know, we're going to play coverages that other teams have played for years and years. You know, what we want to try and do is be fundamentally as good as anybody in the country and try and play with great effort. We want to be better today than we were yesterday, and we don't want to look too far ahead. We want to take care of, you know, one rep at a time, one practice at a time, and you know, within the practice we want to get better as we go.
Step by step, Coach Lance and the rest of the football staff want to see the players improve. After all, football is a game of inches, and they want to see each player fight for every inch.
I really believe that we have everything in place here to build a championship program, and you know, our emphasis is on the process of getting there and really taking that day by day and really really worrying about, each individual guy getting himself better, each position group getting better, and then each unit on offense, defense, and special teams getting better. And I think if we do that, then down the road, championships are what we're going to strive for, and I think that's very achievable for us here at Elon.
Next week, we continue our in-depth look at spring practice by going from the air to the ground to catch up with the running backs and linebackers.
And that brings us to today's history.
On this day in Elon sports history, we'll take a look at Elon's men's tennis team in the golden ages of the 1930s. 1934 was the start of the tennis team's success. Under the watch of coach Hinton Roundtree, the Fighting Christians finished this year with a 15-2-1 record. 1935 brought the best record yet in Elon tennis history, a 17-2-1, and the team also snagged their second consecutive conference title. The Fighting Christians sailed through their third straight undefeated league season and finished their next season at 21-4. The Elon tennis team took 5 consecutive conference titles and declared the 1930s their golden age. They began the next decade with high hopes to be champions once more. And that's today's look into Elon sports history.
We have to take our second commercial break, but first, let's see some upcoming games for Elon.
Through their daily pursuit of excellence, Elon student athletes have gained recognition for their achievements both on and off the field.
Building a winning tradition takes hard work and dedication.
Dedication to the Maroon life.
Where success is not only measured by just wins and trophies,
but also by the knowledge we gain.
At Elon, we're more than just athletes.
We're student athletes.
Providing support enables success, helps sustain the winning tradition of Elon Athletics, while securing the future of our student athletes for years to come. And now back to the Elon Phoenix Weekly on ESPN2.
Welcome back to the Elon Phoenix Weekly on your ESPN2 local sports break. Now, the answer to today's trivia. Earlier we asked, who was the first Elon pitcher to earn 11 wins in a single season? The answer, Gary Henson in 1960. The Southpaw notched his 11th win during the team's final game of the season. Since then, his 11 wins have only been matched once.
This year's senior women's tennis class has brought a sense of excitement to the Jimmy Powell Center over their 4 years here. Whether it be winning the tradition or the ITA rankings, they have accomplished much, but that is not what defines them.
How do we define a class? Is it by the points they win? Is it by their record in the win and loss column? Is it by their fire and drive? Is it by their victories, not just on the court, but off? Is it how they respond to a defeat? Is it by the relationships they've built? Or is it their impact on one another?
They're like my sisters. I wouldn't be here without them. I wouldn't have had such an amazing time at Elon without them, without a doubt.
Frida is one of the most caring and brave people I've ever met. Bryn is the goofiest, craziest, lovable person I have ever met in my entire life. I don't think there's one heart in her body. There has to be at least 3 or 4.
I mean, they're gonna be a part of everything I do in my life.
We looked for a similar similar characteristics with all 3 of them, but they're completely different people. But it's really cool to see how much they've grown together and how much they've done for this program.
To get to this point, they've had to travel from far to reach their zenith.
They're up there at the top, on the court, off the court. They're, what they bring to our team on a day in, day out basis. I mean, they're never satisfied with what they've done, and they always want more. And I think that is the mark of a true competitor.
To earn that mark, they've had to travel outside their own boundaries, to where they may not be comfortable at the time, to find a place where they are, a home away from home, with each other.
It's so much bigger than ourselves, the 3 of us in our relationship. It's our families, it's our friends, it's people in the Burlington community, it's Coach and her family that she's starting. It's so much more, and it's just grown over the past 4 years.
You don't do it for yourself anymore. You do it for the people around you. You do it for those strangers that became your sisters.
In sports today, athlete comparisons are the norm. We draw distinction from differences. One plays with craft, the other with patience, and the last with finesse. Before entering this final chapter, they've undoubtedly countered hardships, differences and adjustments, their pride, the defeats.
That moment, I will never forget, because it wasn't just me, it wasn't my team who was there, it wasn't just Elon Athletics who was there. I was a part of 500 plus people, a community that were all around me and supporting me. And I can never repay those people, besides remembering them and thanking them and hoping that they know that they're always with me, because they were with me in that moment.
I mean, last year's conference tournament, it laid it all out there, and that's all you can ever ask for as a coach, is so your players are gonna do everything they possibly can, mentally, physically, emotionally, put it all out there on the court.
That's just tennis. It goes down to the very, very points. And I mean, I've been thinking about it, but we fought so hard that I wasn't even disappointed after the match, I mean, it was sad that we didn't get the ring, because I think we deserved it. But doesn't kill you, makes you stronger, right?
And as the last serves are tossed, as the last battles are fought, the last points fall, and the last victories announced, we can appreciate what they've given us and their resolve, not just on this court, but off. How do we define a class? How about how they work together as a unit, and that unit's impact on those around them and this community?
Bryn, Frida, and Jordan look to continue their college playing careers with a win in the SoCon tournament, April 16th through the 19th, to earn a bid to the NCAA Regionals. And that's all we have for our show today.
You can catch us on Time Warner Cable Channel 1083 to watch us on demand.
Also be sure to visit elonphoenix.com, your #1 source for all the maroon and gold buzz.
On behalf of our producers and crew here at the show, we hope you continue to have a spectacular weekend.
For the Elon Phoenix Weekly, I'm David Perel.
And I'm Zora Stevenson. See you next week.